Welcome to the Chuck Shute Podcast. My guest today is Marq Torien from the Bulletboys. So Mark's actually had a really long career in the music business. It actually started with him playing in a band signed to Motown Records. And then he was briefly Ozzy Osbourne's guitarist, which I didn't know. Then he was also the guitarist for Ratt, which I also didn't know. And then he sang for a band called King Kobra. You might remember them from the 80s. They had a song on the Iron Eagle soundtrack before he was in the band. And then, of course, Mark went on to start the Bulletboys, and he's been in that band ever since 1987. The first record they had went gold. They had videos on MTV, songs on the radio, tours with Poison and Ozzy, all this stuff. And many of the original members left the band in the 90s, but Mark stayed with it. And the original lineup actually just recently reunited. But then, of course, COVID happened. So tours on hold, but Mark did mention that there are plans in the works for the band. And he just had a lot of great stories to tell with everyone involving Motley Crue, Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters. I mean, he's a great storyteller and a fun guy to talk to. So enjoy Marq Torien.
Hello?
Hi, is this Mark?
Yes, it is.
Hi, this is Chuck Shute from the Chuck Shute Podcast. How's it going?
Hi, Chuck. How are you, my brother? How you doing?
I am great. So yeah, I didn't realize.
Awesome.
Yeah, I had a guest, Troy Patrick Farrell, on my show. I didn't realize he was actually in the Bulletboys, so you must know him, right?
Yes, actually, he was playing for a little bit. Yeah, he was a pickup drummer that we picked up for some shows. Absolutely.
That's very cool. Yeah, so we probably have some more connections that we'll figure out here in a minute, because I want to go through your whole career, if you don't mind, because you've had an amazing career.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, so let's start back in the beginning.
It's been quite a long one. I started in this game when I was about 7 years old. So
yeah. Your father.
I've been doing this for a minute.
Your father played in an orchestra, and your mother sang, and she would have you go do shows at a very young age, like schools and things like that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And then you also you did a lot of surfing and skateboard. You grew up in California. So you had the California life, kind of like what I always dreamed of, like 90210 and Saved by the Bell, that kind of stuff.
Well, we had the LA County California life. I grew up in a small town called Montebello in Los Angeles. Pretty much close to, in the hood. And I grew up skateboarding and surfing and, sports and everything else. California was always a very, it's a skater community and surfing community here. So when you're kind of born here, you either get involved in that kind of thing or you get involved in some other things that aren't probably very good for you.
Sure. Yeah. So at what point, how old were you when you were signed to, I didn't know this, did my research. You were signed to a band called Cagney and the Dirty Rats, and it was on Motown. It was Motown Records. You played guitar and sang for this band.
Yes, I did. Yes, I sang on many tracks on that record, and I was signed by Motown at a very young age. Probably, I'm guessing right now about 19, 20.
Okay.
Around there, 21. It was one of the greatest experiences, and still is the greatest experience of my career. I was very fortunate to be signed by Kerry Ashby Gordy Jr. and Benny Medina to Motown Records and by the chairman himself. So it's funny that you mentioned that, because I just recently reconnected with Kerry Gordy, and we're going to be working with each other on some endeavors and be working with each other in the future. I just love him to death, and he's so much fun. And Motown was extremely how would you say? It was an extremely educational time musically for me. I learned so much there at Motown from the beginning on that I really didn't have any idea about. So I was being part of the Motown family. To me, is the most heartwarming experience that you possibly could imagine.
Yeah.
as an artist, and to be part of that family. On Cagney Dirty Rats, we also had, the Temptations sang on that record.
Right.
Junior Walker played horn. Smokey Robinson was a part of it. Rick James was a part of it as writers. And it was just this magical time where Benny and Kerry wanted to get together, this funk rock thing, and they had the how would you say it, the vision for it. And at the time, I was doing something else. The timetable is a little confusing to me right now, but I got a call from the lead singer, who was Steven Santiago, and he said, "Listen, I'm working on this project at Motown, and I mentioned your name, and there's some songs in this album that's really not in my wheelhouse, and I think you'd be great singing these songs and playing guitar on this thing. Would you be interested in it?" And I was like, "Wow, this sounds really strange, but it sounded like a challenge. It's really challenging to me musically." And I said, "I'm in," So I met the fellas, and we worked diligently. I was talking to Kerry about that. I said, y'all taught me how to really rehearse. He goes, "I know."
So did you grow up idolizing those people like Smokey Robinson and Rick James, or were you more into rock or both, or all that stuff? Yes. Or
I grew up idolizing anybody that was on Motown.
Okay.
Anybody that was, you name it, Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, the great Marvin Gaye, Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5, Junior Walker, the Temptations. I could go on and on and on. Mary Wells, oh my gosh, Gladys Knight and the Pips. Gladys Knight is still one of the favorite vocalists of all time still.
Yeah. So when you first moved from Montebello to Hollywood, I heard you tell this story that one of the first bands that you met was Motley Crue. It was at the Rainbow. And you got to tell this story because it didn't start out so well, because at the time, people have to remember back in the early 80s, you said that there was not a lot of Hispanic people in Hollywood at the time. So when you showed up at the Rainbow, Motley Crue was not happy to see you there, or?
No, not very happy to see me there, or my a couple of my Chicano brothers that were coming up from Montebello at the time.
Yeah.
It was a very strange time back then. I would like to say now, before I say what I'm going to say, some people find it very difficult to understand the story. Mm-hmm. And I'm here to tell you the story that what happened after that, I became very, very close with this band. Yeah. And they kind of took me underneath their wing and, realized that I was this musician that they had heard about. But, they were hard, man. They're a Hollywood band. And the band was Motley Crue. I remember it was yesterday. Back in the day, we would all get together at the Rainbow. I was very young. I probably wasn't dressed to the hilt as a lot of Hollywood bands were at that time, coming from the inner cities. And our home for my band called Torien was the Troubadour. Mm-hmm. So we would play a lot of shows out of my high school band at the Troubadour. So we would, it was never like we were, a Hollywood strip band. We would come and sit on the sidewalks right next to Gazzari's, pass out our flyers, and one day I was really excited because I really wanted to meet this band called Motley Crue, because they were, we were from that Pasadena, Monterey Park, Montebello area, and it trickles down into this band Motley Crue. You got to go see this band. These guys are amazing. It's an amazing band. So we walk in, to the Rainbow parking lot one day, and I see this guy with white blonde hair, big giant stiletto boots on, and he's leaning up against a brick wall that was there was no tables or anything outside. It was just like a brick wall, kind of like with ivy and stuff. And and here's me. I'm just completely wet behind the ears. I'm trying to figure out the three of us in this band that playing, and we were playing backyard parties, to like 1,000 people capacity. We were really drawing a lot of people in the San Gabriel Valley backyard party scene. So people that kind of knew about us or me, and we're doing our shows, and I come walking up, and I remember Sammy, my bass player, Sam Moreno. Shout out to Sammy, who's a retired Los Angeles police detective now.
Wow.
Guy's incredible guy, but I'm going to mention Sammy's name because Sammy was very influential, showing me different artists and musicians. We would sit and listen to vinyl at his home all day. And he constantly, you got to listen to this. You got to listen to this, and me and him were big David Bowie fans. So we're like, oh my God, we both love Bowie,
Yeah.
We're all about that. And, the artists that maybe some of the people that we knew really weren't into. We had a very strong very punk rock roots. I mean, we used to go see Fear together and Circle Jerks and,
wow.
Backyard Park, we all of that. So hence going back to the scenario. So, and this is a hard story for me to tell because, I didn't think of myself the way Hollywood thought of people with skin color.
Yeah. Did you have blonde hair at the time too, or did you have the dark black?
No.
Okay.
I had my natural, which I have now, natural dark hair, very, very skinny, but skinny as a toothpick, wearing the tightest pants I possibly could with my high top tennis shoes and,
yeah.
It's
80s.
Just trying to, right. Yeah. They come walking up and we're there and Simon turns around and goes, I think that's the lead singer from Motley Crue, and kind of talking, kind of pretty close to him. And he goes, hey. We go, hey, what's going on? He goes, Beaner, go home. We don't need Beaners in Hollywood. Go home. Get the fuck out of here.
Jeez.
And we were just like, did he actually fucking say what I just thought he just said? And now, listen, you're talking to three tough guys from the inner cities. We didn't play no games either.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We were not the Hollywood people, but we took quite offense to that.
Yeah.
So we're just like, well, what the fuck did you just say? But so it was getting ready to get started. He goes, you heard what I said. And out of nowhere, this guy comes walking around, kind of looking the same, dark hair, black bangs. And, and he comes up, he goes, you heard what he fucking said? He says, we don't need Beaners in Hollywood. You need to go home, let back, get the fuck out of here, Beaner. So I was like, whoa. So all of a sudden, then it got tense. And then my Sammy, who's so punk rock, he was just like, and who the fuck are you? Because you're going to get the fucking knocked out right now. And Dave Salcedo, my drummer, who was part of a little gang on the south side of Parktown, he wasn't playing that.
Yeah.
So there was tension there. And then out of nowhere, this big, tall angel comes running out, and it was Tommy Lee. Hey, whoa, what the fuck, man? Fuck. Hey, man. Hey, dude, this guy's cool, man. I know this guy, man. He's got a great band, musician. He plays the tube and stuff. And Nick is like, oh, yeah? Oh, fuck this guy, man. I don't like the way you look or the way you dress. And Tommy was like, dude, be cool, man. Hey, man, what's your name? I was like, my name's Marq Torien. He goes, my name's Tommy Lee, dude. Because I heard about you. You're a great guitar player, singer, blah, 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 blah. Dude, come over with me. Go listen to these fucking guys. So I'm just like, and Nicky's sitting there, but Vince is sitting there, and they're kind of like, what? So Tommy, he talked for a little while and kind of explained to me what their scene was, what Frank's scene was, with Nicky said, Frank Verona.
Yeah.
And who Vince, Vincent Orton. Well, it turns out, he tells me after we have a couple of drinks, that Vince is Chicano. I go, wait a minute.
What?
Dude, he goes, I know, dude. Look, dude, don't listen to that shit, bro. People are weird here in Hollywood. Love you, bro. We're brothers now. It's cool. Ever since then, after that, we were all friends.
That is quite the story.
But that's not, I got that a lot of times. We would be walking up and down Gazzari, passing out flyers, and they would tell us, Beaner, go home.
Jeez.
All the time. We don't want left-backs in Hollywood. You need to go back to where you fucking came from.
Wow.
I was like, and we were and we were like cool because guess who hung out with us? All the hot girls.
Yeah, you had the last laugh then. Jeez.
Oh boy, did we ever? Because Sammy's a good-looking man.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Myself, I got by, and my drummer did. So people already knew it. So we were bringing people from the inner cities from where we grew up in Hollywood. So we kind of had, posse with us and stuff. So we were very. It was a struggle to be able to play clubs and to come from the inner cities, and the only bands of color at the time were my close friends, a band called Sound Barrier, and Sound Barrier was the only black metal band.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard of them.
All beautiful black folks, right?
Okay.
Sweetest guy, amazing musician. I'm still friends with Bernie and Tracy, and I still see these guys all the time. I see Bernie every once in a while. Amazing singer. And we became real close with those guys because they were doing something that no one else was doing.
Yeah. So did you get rattled from all that? Like all these people calling you the names and stuff? Did that rattle you at all? Or did you get riled up, like getting in fights or anything? Or?
Of course we did.
Did you win the fights? That's the important question.
Of course we did.
Yeah. Wow.
You're talking some guys coming in from Montebello, Vernon, East LA with chips on both of their shoulders.
Yeah.
At some point, wait a minute, we're not gonna fuck with these guys. These guys are cool. Leave them alone. So that's how we came up the ranks.
That's very cool. So you were friends with Motley Crue, and then also I heard that Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley.
Let me tell you this.
Okay.
Please let me say this.
Oh, sorry.
Not only close friends, but much gigantic respect for Nicky Leader Six, Vince Neil, Mick Mars, and the great Tommy Lee. Those guys I have mad respect for because they taught me and they brought me into their thing. Yeah. Because we were all just a bunch of misfits from the island of the misfit toys. Yeah. So they brought me into their thing, and we became really close, man.
No, but
there was that cool. Weird thing in the beginning, and I never, when I tell the story, I told the story. I'm sure you've heard it, and people get very tripped out. The room gets real quiet, and I'm just like, you guys, wait a minute. This is a long time ago. It was another, and they go, was it really like that? And well, yeah, it was. Yeah. No one's going to talk about it, but you're talking to a kid that is a brown skinned man, but Spanish, Chilean, and English that came from the inner cities. Didn't speak a lot of Spanish, but we worked very, very, very hard and diligent, and it was a lot difficult, I feel, for people of color to make it in at that time.
For sure. And then, is it true that that you later would audition to sing for Motley Crue? Is that a true story?
Yes, it is.
Can you tell me about that? Do you remember that at all? Like,
oh yeah. Pretty much, it's like in the close to the height of the Bulletboys. Me and, of course, I'm very close with Motley, and I love them to death still. We don't get to see each other very often, but I love them with all my heart. I still text Tommy, all the time, talking back and forth every once in a while. But there was a time where they were having trouble with Vince, and I have mad respect for Vince. Vince is a friend of mine, and I love him dearly. And I was called in. Nicky called me in to talk about singing in the band. We worked together a little bit at his house. Wrote a couple pieces, like a couple kind of ballady type of things, and it was just hard. I couldn't. I really wanted to help my friends, but I didn't want to leave my band. And we were, coming up to this apex of our popularity. Mm-hmm. And Nicky was just like, Mark, we're so close. I don't think this is going to work. Mm-hmm. We've known each other for so long, and stay with you, and we're going to find somebody, but. Can you do me a favor? Can you hook me up with the singer for the Scream, the guy that you had opening up for you on the Freak Show series? Oh yeah, I go, Johnny, yeah,
John Corabi.
I love that guy. He's great. Yeah, he's a great singer. Well, dude, he's a great singer. So I think I've had a little bit of getting Johnny involved with Motley. Oh, because we had them, and I just got to be honest with you, and John will probably tell you the same story. I discovered John Corabi at the Guitar when he was playing in a band called Roxanne. And I stumbled out of a limousine, completely drunk and high, and walked in and heard this guy, saw this guy singing, and I couldn't bloody believe it. He was just amazing. So
Wow.
I knew my friends of mine from the screen were looking, Bruce Boyer and Johnny were looking for, John Reddy, were looking for a singer.
Hmm.
So I saw this guy, we became friends. I was just like, hey, listen, I think I have a band for you to play in, but you're going to have to leave this band. He's like, well, let's talk about it, and whatever. So I love Johnny to death. So I was able to talk to him, get John and Johnny on the phone, and they hit it off, and he joined the screen.
Wow. And then later, Motley Crue.
Yep, which Nicky loved the Scream record and loved John's voice and his writing. And that eventually put him into Motley.
Yeah. That was I like that album with him too. I think I love all the Crue albums, but yeah.
That record is incredible with him. I know it's like, it's a different path for Motley, but they worked so hard on it. I got to hear some of I was privileged to hear some of the roughs in the beginning. John was playing for me, and it was just incredible. We just sit in the car and we were grabbing each other's legs, Like, he goes, can you fucking believe it? Oh my God. It's like, dude, this is incredible.
Yeah.
I'm very, when something's magical, as a musician, as a writer, you get to that point where you're just, the excitement's like, when you hear something that, so I'm still like that. So at that time, I was so proud of him, because wow, this guy went from here to here, and quickly they put this thing together. But I could never join Motley because there's only one singer for Motley Crue, in my opinion, which is Vince Neil.
Right.
Vince Neil is the voice of Motley Crue.
For sure.
So he's a legend, star, and my brother. So it wasn't something that I thought that I could really go, man, I don't think this is going to work. Nicky was already ahead of the game. He's like, no, we tried it. I love you, but kick ass in the band,
Yeah.
Thank you for giving us the thing, whatever. But that's pretty much as far as my recollection of the whole situation was.
That's crazy. So, and then I heard another story. I did not know this about you. I've been a Bulletboys fan since the 90s. You auditioned for Ozzy Osbourne, I'm sorry, you actually got the gig, and you were named the new guitarist, not singer. It was guitar for this. It was right after Brad Gillis left for Night Ranger. Now, I've heard three different versions of this story. So one was that, which I think this one is totally false. The audition was cut short because you were raving too much about Tony Mills and saying he was the original Ozzy, and that's the singer of TNT. I looked into. They said that this was in Rudy Sarzo's book. So I grabbed his book and I looked at it, and I saw nothing of this. He said that.
That's a lie.
Yeah, that sounded like a lie.
I've never said that.
Yeah, that sounded like a lie. So then I looked in.
Really? Woo,
that's right there, right?
Really out there.
So I looked in the Rudy Sarzo book, and it said that in Rudy's version, he says that he and the drummer Tommy, he didn't think you guys were playing the right key or the wrong chords or something. And then he went to Ozzy, and Ozzy wanted to bring you along on the road and thought, you'd be able to break you in, but they insisted that it wasn't going to work out. So then he called you and told you that you were out. And you said it was because Ozzy told you that it was because you were too young.
Yes. I don't know Rudy's story, but I'll tell you one thing about Rudy. I love Rudy to death.
Yeah.
Rudy was there to help me the whole time I was in the band. Him and his wife, Rebecca. Tommy Aldridge really didn't like me too much, and I still think Tommy was a little bit not really digging the fact of me being Latino. So,
really?
And that's just me personally. Yeah, that's just me personally. But I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
Ozzy and Sharon were the sweetest and nicest people, and kind to me, and helpful, and educational. They really helped me. Ozzy took me to Charvel. He picked out 2 or 3 guitars for me. Huh. He was very integral and very kind to me.
Yeah.
And I will never forget that. I love Ozzy with all my heart and Sharon. I didn't continue the gig, and yes, I was told by Sharon. Sharon had called my mother because I was supposed to be picked up on a certain day, and I had all my guitars ready. I was still living with my parents, and we waited, and that day, nobody came to pick me up. No one called me. And then we waited another day, and no one came to pick me up, and no one called me. Then we waited the third day, and no one called, and no one came to pick me up. So I'm sitting there devastated. My parents are like, what the hell is going on? So we got a call. I think it was on the fourth day, and my mom picked it up, and it was Sharon. And she told my mother that to please tell Mark to keep the guitars and everything at the given. Ozzy loves him, but we just feel that he's too young. And we're just getting over the fact that Randy, the whole band, still has, you know, their hearts are destroyed because Randy is, you know, passed away.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they talked for a little bit, and then I got on the phone, and Sharon was just like, you know, I'm so sorry, Mark. I wanted to call you, but we have to get out here to England. We have shows. And we've hired a guitar player that Ozzy likes by the name of Bernie Tornay. Mm-hmm. And he's going to be doing the thing. So she was very kind to me. Now, here's this young kid playing with a bunch of older dudes.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was hard, man. It wasn't easy. I thought I played with, I lived, ate, and breathed those songs. I played the hell out of those songs. As far as playing out of tune or anything else like that, I was never told anything like that. I don't remember it being told anything like that. I just remember the phone call and me waiting for 3 days. And I'm looking at the strap, the Charvel strap that Ozzy bought me. I still have it. It's right here on my wall. So
yeah,
it's like, so it was a great experience. I mean, the LA Times, you know, it was like on the front page, little thing saying, you know, I got the gig in Ozzy, hometown hero makes good. You know, the whole thing. Cool. And then all of a sudden, it didn't work. And, you know, I thank God for that, because it might not have been the right situation for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it because I was so young. And, you know, you never know, but, God had other plans for me.
Yeah, so this is interesting. I didn't know you were friends with the guys from Ratt, and they must have been going through a thing with their guitarist Warren DeMartini, because he was in the band, then he was out, and so they brought you in, and then you were I didn't know this. Also, you were the guitarist for Ratt for a short little time, right?
Well, not really a short time, almost a couple years.
Oh, really? It was a couple years.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wrote their first song with myself, Steven, and Robin Crosby, a song called You Think You're Tough. It was their first hit song.
That's a great song.
I helped write that song.
So
me and Steven, what happened was, after Ozzy, you know, I didn't get the gig.
Yeah.
I was hanging out a lot with Steven, and who I love dearly. Definitely one of my mentors. And, you know, he heard the whole thing would happen, and he thought it was really shitty what they did to me. So he goes, listen, man, I'm not feeling Warren right now, blah, blah, blah. We're kicking him out of the band. He goes, and I was sitting there with King, Robin, and then Steven, they go, and we want you, dude. You want to be a Ratt? That's exactly what Steven told me. And I said, I'm in, because they were my favorite band. I mean, they were friends of mine, my favorites. And Steven hired me to play in Ratt. So we did a bunch of shows all over Southern California, everywhere. In fact, I was talking to Steven about like 3 or 4 days ago. And we were chatting about some things, and we were cracking up. So we're talking about that, and you know, we played all over the place. And right before we're getting ready to do the EP, Steven had a long talk with me, and he said, "Listen, I got to let you go, and I'm going to tell you why. Your singing is incredible. You sing better than I do. Your guitar playing is incredible. I think you need your own band. You need to go form your own band."
Wow.
And I was like, what? What are you talking about? I love you guys. We're going to do our first EP. You're kicking me out of the band? And so I was like, yeah, it was a bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah.
And it was very bitter for Steven and for Robin, because we were friends, and I was like their little brother.
Yeah.
So, and Steven wasn't really, at that time, wasn't down too much with Warren, but he knew as a leader the decisions they have to make to be able to do what they needed to do. And, you know, Warren's family is, you know, pretty wealthy. You know, a lot of different things came into play with that. So, you know, I got whisked into the trees. Listen, it only made me.
Hello?
it more.
Okay. Yeah.
It only made me want it more. And,
Sure.
Steven was we were still really close. He's always, invited me to the shows. And the hardest pill to swallow was watching them play in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there, and I'll never forget. I think we were playing it's either the Forum or the Sports Arena.
Okay.
And I told myself, you know what? You're going to walk up to the front of this fucking stage and make sure that they see you there. Right? Because I was like, fuck these guys, I want to make sure that they're going to see me. It's not going to be the last time they're going to see me. And, I'm an idiot. It's not going to, they don't care. So I'm there, the girlfriend at the time, I'm like, come on, let's go. I'm going to flip them off, man. Fuck these guys. So I walk up there, and I make eye contact with King. I walk there, and I walk right to the center of that stage, right in the front. And King sees me, points right at me, comes over to the center stage, and plays right to me.
Ah.
The whole time.
Huh.
And points at me, give me the thumbs up. Like, I'm playing for my bro.
Huh.
And that to me, everything to me.
Yeah. Wow.
Bob, I love Robin Crosby. You have no idea how I loved him so hard. He is one of the greatest, sweetest musicians I've ever known, and I think everybody would tell you that.
Sure.
Of course, he was taken away from us with drugs, and things happen in life. But
sure,
he taught me so much. He taught me about guitar tone. He helped me develop my guitar tone and helped me, simplify things. And he was an amazing guitar player. He's just amazing. And I would sit with him in his apartment, and he'd call me up and go, "Dude, what are you doing?" I go, I'm doing. He goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm coming over to your house right now." Exactly, Bone. Get your ass over here. Click. Right? So shit like that. I'd come in and he goes, "You want some pancakes?" Like, yeah. He cooked pancakes up for us, and he's just a big kid,
Yeah.
But he taught me a lot, and then taught me to listen.
That's
because
very cool.
You listen to because he came up with all those parts, the Ratt songs. Back for More, and I remember playing Back for More. And the chord thing, he said, no, that's not the right chord. Let me show you. So he would show me the chord. I go, that's trippy. That's like not even a chord. No, it's these different voicings that we're using. It's like, oh, okay. So he really taught me a lot about guitar.
Wow.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because he was friends with, all the, big guitar players. And, Steven worked so hard, bro. He every day was that. Every single day he was doing something. That had to do with that.
Wow.
And that's why he made it. And I saw his diligence of how he became huge. And I try to use the same format for it with Bulletboys, from all the stuff that I learned from all the guys who were older than I was. And
so there was there was one more band that you joined before we get to Bulletboys, King Kobra, who, if people don't know, they had a song on the Iron Eagle soundtrack. That was before you were in the band, but then you joined the band.
Yes.
And you were in that, for about a year or so, year or two? And then you kind of...
No, I was more like a scat player. I think I was in there for like about 6-7 months.
Okay. I
wasn't in the band very long.
How did you... Now, you formed Bulletboys with like Mick and Lonnie from King Kobra. So did you steal them away, or did the King Kobra break up? I'm not sure how that all came together.
No, Lonnie was my best friend, and
okay.
We were always hanging together, and we were writing even back then. And then Lonnie got he went to go audition for King Kobra, and he got the gig. So me and Lonnie weren't really hanging out too much because he was playing with King Kobra and local shows or whatever. And then their singer decided that he was going to quit the band. So Marq Torien. And they had shows to do and all these stuff booked, and he just didn't want to play in the band anymore. So Lonnie had told Carmine, my best friend Mark could sing the hell out of these songs. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, he's playing rap. I'm like, oh, he's a singer? Because, yeah, he's an incredible singer. Better than, he plays guitar, but he's an incredible singer. So Lonnie calls me and goes, come on in, audition for the band. I talked to Carmine, you got to come in. So I said, oh, okay, thanks, bro. So I went in and auditioned, sang, and I got the gig. So, it was really tricky because, you got Carmine Appice, who's like a superstar, and you got these guys that have already had MTV videos out there. And so I'm walking in this thing, I'm like, wow, so it was a little different. I think the nicest guys actually to me were Lonnie and David Hensley, Dave Henselman. So
was that the drummer or
the lead guitar?
Lead guitar.
The lead guitar player.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and we were just doing it and doing it and doing it, and then one day we just got kind of tired of being told what to do, and we had other things that we wanted to do. This was like a stepping stone for us for a little while. Like just be in this for a little while, and then we're going to get out and we're start our own thing. I said, okay, because he knew I didn't want to join some group. I wanted to start something fresh, anew from the ground up, and I was very adamant about it. So we ended up, talking about it constantly, and Lonnie go, listen, man, it's time to leave. I've been talking to Mick Sueda, and he wants to come with us to form this new band. I was like, wow, really? Okay. So, like, cool, Mick's great, He's a rad dude, and, he drives a fucking badass car, sharp kid, really had his shit together, incredible guitar player, and, had a diligent attitude of, wanting to be successful. And, but Dave Henselman was constantly blowing up our phone. Oh, come on, you guys gotta take me, dude. I'm the guy. I'm your guy. I'm over this shit. Come on, man. So we were just like, nah, we you're a great guitar player, but I don't know. There's something about Mick. He's more like we're in this clique, me, Lonnie, and Mick. Talking all the time. Yeah, we're gonna lead this thing and we're gonna form this thing. Yeah. And Mick was just a guy. He was very diligent, and he wanted to write songs, and me and Lonnie had a bunch of songs written, and it just worked out well. And then we had this one drummer, and he's been with us for a while, but he was a little hard and wasn't really down with working.
Oh.
Like we really wanted to work.
Yeah.
And he'd already done all those works in different bands, and and played with Billy Idol, and he was just he kind of thought he was a big rock star. So
who was this?
I love him to death, but
was it somebody I know, or
probably not? His name will remain nameless for the time being.
Okay. All right.
So we go in there, and then he left us. He left the band, and then we started holding open auditions. We auditioned everybody underneath the sun, and we had a guy in mind. And then the guy came to rehearsal, and we were going to tell him, I think you're the guy to do it. And he just basically told us, thanks for the offer, but I'm starting my own thing. We're like, well, why did you come audition for the band?
Yeah, right.
It's like, well, I just wanted to see what you guys are about. You guys have, there's a lot of people talking about you guys, and blah, blah, blah. So we're like, fuck. But deep down in my heart, I knew a guy that I grew up with, him and his brother, and we were close, very close, and he was a savant of a drummer, and his name is Jimmy D'Amba.
Oh, yeah, great drummer.
We grew up in Montebello, so I kind of basically, I got Jimmy. I said, Jimmy, we have this new band. Can you please come in and audition? No problem. Yeah. Oh, wow. So he came in, and he actually auditioned. If I'm not wrong, he auditioned at a house party at Lonnie's mom's house. We had a garage party, and we were jamming, and he came up and jammed with us. And Lonnie was just like, oh, Jimmy, what's going on? Because we were first, because we loved jam. Jimmy, what's going on? Like, I can't jam with y'all. I said, all right, cool. So we got up and we jammed a Led Zeppelin song, whatever. But after we played, Mick and Lonnie were just like, this guy's really good. And I said, dude, I told you, this guy's incredible. He's our guy. And I'm the guy that's constantly going, forget these drummers. Jim, let's get Jimmy in here. Oh, he's too young. He's too young because he was 18 and he's getting ready to turn 19. And I was like, no, you don't understand. This is the guy. You play with all these drummers. Well, we play with Carmine. You think that this guy's better than Carmine? I said, Lonnie, if you work with this kid, he's going to be 10 times the drummer Carmine is. Oh, well, if you think so strongly about it, I guess so. So Lonnie started working with Jimmy, and he'd get in and rehearse for 8 hours a day, and at our place in Vernon called the Pitch Room, and one day it was just like, dude, we got to do this and blah blah blah. And from what my recollection is, and I do kind of know this, I said, I'm not moving any way forward. Jimmy's got the gig, as far as I'm concerned.
Wow.
Well, I did that. That's great that you play with these guys. Work with Jimmy, and he will become a savant of a drummer. And Lonnie did. And Lonnie listened to me and listened to Mick. And we worked with Jimmy. And Jimmy was incredible already.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not take anything away from that.
Right.
But he had to find his place of the songs that we were finding.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah.
And he was just like, wow. And, I remember sitting in Ron's garage sometimes. And he'd be sitting there and he goes, fuck you, man. And I was like, what? He's like, just fuck, man, fuck. And I go, what? He goes, I hate when you're right.
Yeah, so you mentioned
right about this, and yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned the piss room. Tell me, so this is some place where you guys used to rehearse, and there was bums in there and stuff, and you kind of moved in your stuff and started rehearsing, and the bums moved out, and but some people came in.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there was it was a rehearsal studio in Vernon, which is right next to East LA, right next to Montbello. Carson's a little bit south of it, Lonnie's crib. But I don't know exactly how we found it. I don't remember, but I think a friend of ours, Dan, was rehearsing. There's a room open, but there's been somebody living in this room. They shouldn't have been living there.
God.
Some homeless dude. So we go, oh, good. They're throwing them out of there. So they threw them out. We come into this room, and I kid you not, the urine smell in that room was, I can't even tell you, it was pelleted. It was awful.
That's bad.
And we're sitting there, the three of us, me, Nick, and Lonnie, and we're going, and Lonnie goes, hell no, man. Well, there's no fucking way. And but Nick was going, listen, look at this room. This is a huge room, and this could be ours. I just need some cleaning up. So sure enough, we got buckets, mops, and cleaned that shit with pine saw. The whole place. Cleaned it.
Nice.
But guess what? It still smelled like piss.
Oh, that is funny. So then how?
So we tried diligently, and that's why we called it the piss room, because we we got it out.
Yeah.
But I think in our heads we could still smell it.
Yeah, definitely. So, so then you got your producer to produce the Bulletboys debut. It was originally going to be Gene Simmons, I heard, from Kiss, but then you got Ted Templeman, the legendary Van Halen producer. So, and he would give you like books to read and movies to watch for lyrical inspiration. Do you remember what some of those were?
Yes. I remember one of the movies was, when it first came out, was, oh my gosh, Predator. What's that movie with
Schwarzenegger.
the very first one? Yeah, yes, with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he was always, Ted's just a genius, first of all. Ted Templeman was our Svengali, our fifth member, a guy that let us do whatever we wanted to do, but guided us in the right ways he was our Phil Jackson, for me.
Okay.
I think a couple of the guys would definitely say that, but he gave us books to read, would tell us books to read, give us ideas for things and movies, and that was one of the movies that when he first told us, he goes, I want you to watch this movie, but I want you to listen to the dialogue, because there's things in the dialogue that are very, very interesting. And I said, I'm not going to tell you, but this is one part of the movie, blah, blah, blah. You got to listen to this. So it's just something in that movie that was like, oh, wow. It could have been something, just one word. And he'd go, remember the movie, blah, blah, blah. I go, yeah, say that one word right here. And I'd be like, oh, okay. And then that would be a line or a word in the lyrical content of one of our songs.
Yeah.
So it was always, that. I remember for the third record, me and Mick actually flew to New Orleans to work with Grant Morris, who was like a B movie producer, friend of our managers, David Kaplan. But he's also a great lyricist, and he helped us out with some things. And we went to his house in New Orleans, and we, just like, because Ted wanted us to experience other things that we could draw from.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we went there, and we came up with some amazing things. I mean, that's where Fest came out of, and a lot of different songs on that record because of because of the situation that we were in, and we stayed in Grant's house, which was right there in French Quarter, and it was just an amazing experience. And we were able to do that and come up with different things. He'd always put us in different situations that would breed new verbiage, new visions. So yeah, he was incredible.
Yeah, and the album did well. Obviously, "Smooth Up In You" was a great single. That song and a couple other were on MTV. And your debut went gold just in 5 months, which was pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I found this interesting. I heard you talking about how you were friends with Guns N' Roses at the time, and I'd love to be a fly on the wall during this conversation with Slash, where he's worried about his album not selling very well, Appetite for Destruction. And you're having to kind of give him a pep talk like, oh no, Slash, it's going to be okay. Your album's going to do great. It's a great album because your album went gold before theirs did.
Yes, it did. In fact, ours went, and their thing was just hanging around. And I remember it was like really a quick conversation because we were friends with them.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of respect for us as we did them, but they were out way before us.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember one day, I remember that they were having that chat, and I love Slash, and he says, "Yeah, man, I think it's dead in the water. You guys are doing really well, and blah, 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 but we're going to release this one song. We're doing a video for it, Sweet Child of Mine, and we're going to see how it works," because their album had already been out for a year, and it hadn't, from what I understand, it hadn't even hit gold yet. So we were just like, what? Because it's all over the radio. We thought, oh, these guys have a reasonable record already. You know? It's everywhere. And it's like, now it's not for here. But as soon as they released that song, that was it. It just went like wildfire because that was the song. And I remember Axl telling me a long time ago that they put it on there, but they didn't really want to put it on there.
Right. Yeah. I've heard that too. And you really liked Axl because of his work ethic, which was interesting to me because, there was such a gap between the Use Your Illusions and Chinese Democracy. Like, do you think he was working that whole time, or was he going through something, or?
I think, as a fly in the wall, I would like to think that maybe he just took a little break from exhaustion.
Sure.
And said, I have a vision of something that I want to do that I haven't been able to do, but now that I'm here, I'm going to be able to do it. So even if people don't like it, I'm still going to do it anyway because this is what I want to do.
Right.
And you know what, bro? That's rock and roll, baby.
Yeah.
That's punk rock.
No, that's awesome.
And he came up with something that maybe people at the time, were like, wow, this is really, if you go back and listen to it now, you go like, wow, he was something different and innovative, and maybe it wasn't the right thing for the fans, but it was the right thing for him at the time.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to roll with the punches. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
Right.
And then he wasn't about to fold. He's like me. He's got two chips on one shoulder and 5 on the other. And you're like, I don't care what anybody's going to tell me. I'm going to make this happen.
Yeah.
So he did. For 10 years, he played without anybody else. He had Buckethead in the band. Everybody was saying whatever. But I always, to me, I go back to the early days when we used to have conversations, and he was just so kind and so endearing. And, he would tell me stories about when him and Saul used to come and see me play in Ratt.
Mm-hmm.
I go, yeah, me and Saul was right there in the front. I go, you've been following me for a long time, bro. Like, oh man. So there was this kindred friendship thing. And back in the day, one of my closest friends still is Tammy Down. That's my brother, and I love him with all my heart. And he had a club called the Cat House, and we would all go congregate down there, all of us. And I know we played there. But, I remember one night we were, in fact, I was talking to Timmy about this last year at a party at my house, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I remember that." Like, he was like, "Remember this?" Blah, blah, blah. He goes, "Oh yeah, I remember that." I was really but we went to this club, and Axel's looking sharp. He's got a fur coat on, badass, like fucking German hat on, looking suave. And I used to wear this big black cowboy hat, like came down, little spurs. I was, pissed off. Carried a flask. Also carried a nice small gun, little piece with me all the time.
Wow.
So, because we were gangsters. So, so I had off because I'm actually laughing at myself because I was out of control.
Yeah, sure.
So it's like, so I walked up and Axel tells me, walking up the street, he goes, "Hey," he goes, "You carry a piece on you? Is that true?" I go, "Yep." He goes, "Get the fuck out of here. You really do?" I said, "Yeah." "Can I see it?" "Yep." So he showed it to him. He goes, "God damn, Mark, you are such a badass."
So it wasn't like open carry. It was like concealed weapon then?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Wow. Hollywood was kind of dicey back then, man.
Yeah, for sure. So then you did a tour with sorry.
So then we would go to the place, and like we're getting ready to walk in the club, and he's like, "Fuck, all right," put it away, and Jamie gives us a hug, "Hey, you guys, what do you fuckers do?" And, well, we came in and have a drink, yada yada, and Axel said, "Hey, Mark carries a piece," and Jamie's like, "Is that true?" He's like, "Yeah." I go, "I do." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Do me a favor?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Can you leave a piece at the coat desk? Check in with the girl?" I said, "Yeah." so here I am. I wrap it in a bandana. I hand it to the girl, and Tammy's standing right there. He gives me the thumbs up, like, "Thanks, dude." And sure enough, when I walk back out, coat check girl gives it right back to me. Boom, goes right in my. But it was like,
there's no metal detectors or anything like that at the time?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay. Wow.
So, I mean, at one point I just stopped doing it because it was just like, come on, man. Because we were the Bulletboys, man.
You got to have some bullets on you.
I grew up in East LA, Montebello.
Yeah.
All my friends carried gaps. What's the difference?
Wow.
So, I grew up in a rough area. A lot of my friends did. So that story always is very profound to people because they go, "Wow, dude, really?" It's like, yeah. Did you ever use it? No. Just for protection.
Yeah. That's good that you never had to use it.
Hell no.
Yeah, that's good. But so anyways, going back to the 80s, your guys is one of your first tours. The first one you did was with Ian Hunter, but then the other one you did that was big was Cinderella and Winger. Do you remember that tour or have any memories or stories that stand out about that one?
Just great times with those guys. Tom and Freddie pulled us out there on the road, got our management, and that's why we were out there. One of the greatest tours we were on. It's just an incredible time. We threw it down really great. Tom was really great to us, and we were fully out of control on that tour. So thank God we made it through that. It was all some hijinks with us, bro. We were like the Marx Brothers on steroids. Everything was just out of control for us, and we were always trying to do something funny, and just constantly doing fun stuff, and we just laughed a lot, man. We had a really good time.
Oh, I bet that would be fun. Is it true that James Hetfield would come to see you guys in the Bulletboys shows in the early days? Like he'd come and cheer you on, but also kind of talk shit to you too?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Wow, that's interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like his
Metallica,
kind of music. I thought he liked more.
No, they loved us.
Yeah.
No, they loved us. He'd come to shows and tell us he loved us, but also give a shit too.
Wow.
Like, I better not see a shitty show tonight, man. It's like, okay, no.
Wow.
Shit, James is in the house, man. What's up? He'd come and walk in with his hoods. He's, yeah, what are you fuckers doing? We're going to see a good show tonight? It's like, fuck, James, what's going on? I love you guys, man. Like, he was so supportive, dude. All of them. Kurt, Lars.
Oh,
everybody.
really? That's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you also talked about you knew Andrew Wood from Mother Love Bone and Alice in Chains. A lot of
Yes.
those '90s bands that you take credit for kind of discovering Alice in Chains, right? You're one of the first bands to have them open for you.
You know what? Yeah, I wouldn't say I take credit for the band or we take credit for the band, but I would say definitely we take credit for bringing them in the fold.
Yeah.
We were really close with them. Jerry and Lane and Mikey, those were our guys. We lived with each other when they were doing their first record. We were doing Freak Show, and we all lived in the Oakwood apartments here in Hollywood together. I lived right across the hall from those guys. So I mean, we were really close. I mean, we discovered them in a bar in Seattle, and I think they were doing Smooth Up, and Lane was singing, and we couldn't believe that it sounded really, really good.
Wow.
So we talked to them after, and they were like starting their new band called Alice in Chains. And we're like, dude, when you guys get it together, come and open up for us when we come roll through here again. So we ended up, hanging out, and we would take them everywhere with us, all over the place. In fact, we took Jerry and Lane when we closed the show for KNAC's 5th anniversary party. And Ozzy was supposed to close the show, but we decided that we would go on after Ozzy. And everybody was giving us hell about it. Like, you're going to go on after Ozzy? You guys are a bunch of fools. Why would you do that? Well, see, little to everybody's chagrin, Long Beach was our hometown. So the 25,000 people that were there were our friends.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew when we stepped up on stage that there was going to be a roar like crazy. We just knew it.
Yeah.
We were number one on every radio station at the time. And of course, no disrespect to Ozzy. We knew he was going to get out there and crush.
Sure.
And I'll never forget, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley came off to our dressing room. Ha ha. And we know Gene and Paul, so we know Gene.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and we were like, oh shit, that's Gene and Paul. Hi fellas, what's going on? And Gene goes, whose idea was it to go on after Ozzy? They're like, we are.
Wow.
And we go, us. He goes, I don't know if that's a very wise choice. He goes, you're going after a legend. And he was right, okay? But Paul was the opposite. Paul was like, you guys are awesome. I can't wait to see this, right? And then he turns around to Jared. He goes, oh, what's your name? Blah, blah, blah. Jared. Yeah, friends of the Bulls. Yeah, we're close friends. Blah, blah, blah. He goes, you're in a band? Yeah. He goes, well, yeah, we're getting our band started. He goes, what's the name of your band? He goes, band's called Alice in Chains. He goes, Alice in Wonderland? Well, Alice in Wonderland. He goes, I think there's a movie Alice in Wonderland. And Paul goes, I don't think you said Alice in Wonderland. And he goes, and then Jerry, who's a badass, goes, I didn't say that, dude. I said Alice in Chains.
Oh, shit. Wow.
And see, they already had the Bulletboys attitude. They weren't letting anybody come and try to throw shade on them.
Yeah.
They were just, and he goes, oh, and Dean was like very, very sweet. He goes, okay, I just go, that's a very good, that's a great name.
Wow.
But he was just like, boom, like, and Gene, I love him. I just love him with all my heart. He's always been such all of us in rock, especially Bulletboys. He wanted to see us succeed. When I played with the Kiss for a little while, he wanted to see me succeed. I've known Paul and Gene for many, many years. And they were, Paul and Gene were the first guys to come and see me play at the Troubadour, my high school band.
Wait, when did you play in Kiss? I didn't know that.
Yeah, when it all comes down to it, I'll give Greg Jeffria, who was my main mentor at the time when I first came into Hollywood. He was the lead keyboardist for Angel.
Mm-hmm.
And, Greg knew everybody, and Greg just took me under his wings, man. And he was the one that got me the Ozzy gig. He was the one that, got Gene and Paul to come and see me play at the Troubadour and sit there through the whole show and, everything like that. That's why I met David Roth and Alex Van Halen. They came to see me play one night. So, I mean, it was like I was surrounded by all these amazing musicians and so blessed because of Greg Jeffria.
Mm.
My talent, of course, the little talent that I was promoting at the time, but Greg brought all these people into into the fray so they could see me play. And he constantly was trying to help me all the time with stuff and bringing me into the studio when Angel recorded. And, you know, I got the gig by Greg invited Ozzy and Sharon up to Greg's house. And Greg called me one morning and said, I have Ozzy here. He wants to talk to you. Get your ass up here. So I was like, well, so, you know, I got to give credit where credit is due. It wasn't me just being in the right place at the right time. It was the village that I had around me and my friends and that loved me and had respect for me and taught me a lot of stuff, what to do, what not to do, how to lead with class and dignity, how to carry a career for years and years and years and not just be this, you know, one hit and see you later.
Mm-hmm.
And to try to, you know, minimize the drugs and the drinking, to realize that that's just something that's going to be there, but to not to be into this, to be a writer. You know, Greg was always pulling me into writing sessions when they had writing sessions. So I got to see the ins and outs of what the perseverance and the struggle that they had as writers to put something together. And, you know, and at the time, Frankie Needles in the band, Barry Branson in the band, you know, Punky Meadows, and they were like kids to us growing up in Montebello. So I'm standing around going, oh my gosh, I'm with Angel. This is crazy. You know, so
wow.
I was very starstruck at the time. So I was really lucky and blessed to have the type of people that I had around me, you know?
Yeah. And you also, I think it's cool that you kind of paid it back because a couple of people that you've had in the Bulletboys, you were kind of the first band to have DJ Ashba in your band, right? I mean, wasn't that his first band and first big band that I've heard of that he was in?
Yeah. DJ was discovered by Lonnie Vincent and myself, and we brought him in to play guitar in the Bulletboys for a little while. He was, you know, he'd been living in LA for a very short time. He had a girlfriend, tiny little apartment, and he was, you know, this incredible guitar player, and he also was a writer. So he was more into writing and recording. So he was more of like a recording guitar player.
Yeah.
And me and Lonnie would listen to some of the stuff he was doing. And it's like, wow, this is so good. And plus, he was just a sweetheart, and he was always there for us. And you know, Lonnie took him underneath his wing, and he led with love, but he also, you know, he was very tough love too with them. And DJ just said, you know, we're playing for a little while, and DJ said, you know what, guys, I love you guys, but I want to go do my own thing. I have this idea for this record, and I'm almost done, and I got to go pursue this. So he had a vision, but he thanked us for what you know, being with us and playing and touring with us and everything else. But it just came to that point where he had to fly, you know?
Yeah. Is that when he went to go to 6 a.m. or was that a different thing that he did?
Oh no, that's when he first, he wasn't even doing Guns N' Roses. He had his own thing that he was going to be doing.
Okay.
Solo thing.
Solo. Okay. Gotcha. And then you had Jason Hook, who ended up going on to Five Finger Death Punch. I mean, you've had all these great people in the band.
I love the Hookster.
Yeah,
so
the Hookster. Oh, okay. You got a nickname for him. Yeah, that must have been.
Oh, no, we gave him his last name, Jason Hook.
Oh,
Me and Lonnie did.
Oh.
That's it. Yeah, his last name is Jason Grinstead.
Oh.
But his name, his rock and roll name is Jason Hook. And me and Lonnie gave him his last name, Jason Hook.
Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, that same album, you also had Sebastian Bach play on that Sophie record. Are you pretty good give me a good Sebastian Bach story. He's so entertaining to me. I love it. He's one of my favorite singers of all time.
You know, I'm not very close with Sebastian. I was back in the day, but I'm not actually as we speak.
Oh.
But I do have a lot of respect for Sebastian and his musical talent.
Mm-hmm.
He came in and sang on a song called "A Neighborhood."
Yeah.
And he asked me to come in and sing on it, and he loved the song. And he came in, and he was so awesome, dude. Came into this little tiny studio, and we had a great time, smoked some weed, and, you know, he came in and sang the parts, and, you know, I'm just going to answer to you, and I'm going to do this. And then some shit fell apart with the record company and the producer and all, you know how things go. And, you know, the song got put kind of aside, and no one got paid. And, you know, and then one day we were just in the studio one time. I was with a friend of mine. He pulled up the song. He goes, man, I want to mix this thing. Can we at least mix this record? It never came out. I go, okay. So we ended up mixing it. And the song Neighborhood came out, and people were like, "Wow, Sebastian singing with Marq. This is so cool." And for all intents and purposes, I wish all of us were singing together and doing those type of things together now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think our genre of music, for some reason or another, it's hard to do. How would you say it?
Duets?
Collaboration.
Collaborations. Okay.
Yeah, and I'd love to do way more with collaborations with singers and everything, but I don't know if it's ego, if it's management, or if it's just like, I don't really want to do that. But I think it would make our genre so much. How would you say? It would be giving back to our fans, our family, and friends.
Yeah.
I'd love to listen. I'd love more than anything to do a duet with Sebastian, or do a duet with Axl, or do something that no one was expecting. I personally have left my ego at the door, a big giant door, like way far, far, far away somewhere for many years now. I like to tell people that I'm more Marq from Montebello than I am Marq from the how would you say in Rockstar.
Okay.
I really never really liked the terminology rockstar.
Sure.
I always liked the terminology as a rock musician or a writer. But yeah, or hair metal. I really never quite taken to those things. So
yeah. Well, you did have.
I would like to say now.
Yeah. Go on. Sorry.
Now I'm a lot different than I was back then. I would say now. Hopefully, I've grown. I still have a very youthful mentality with vision and musicality, but I do a lot more listening than I do a lot more talking these days when it comes down to the get down, because I have so much respect for people's opinions and what they really feel from their heart. And it's very important that you listen to people, especially when they're taking time, which is their time. Time is very important things to human beings. And a human being takes time from me, whatever that time is, even forget musically, just on a normal, everyday thing. It's something that you should always know that's a blessing, because no one has to give you their time.
Oh, that's true. But I do think you're talking about collaborations and people in your genre, but you actually kind of stepped outside your genre a little bit, because you had Jesse Hughes from the Eagles of Death Metal play on the From Out of Skies album. And this album is also
best brother in the whole world.
Yeah, and this album was also recorded at Dave Grohl's studio, and so you got to meet Dave Grohl, and he was a big fan of you too, which I also think was very cool.
Listen, I'm going to start tearing up if I have to get into this story, because I emotionally get really spent when I talk about David or Jesse.
Wow.
And I just love Jesse Hughes, man.
Yeah.
He was there for me when nobody else was. And he took me into his tribe and taught me a lot about love and loving people unconditionally. Excuse me.
I think that's really cool, because it's two kind of different style. I like Eagles of Death Metal too, but you are different styles of music. So it's cool that you guys can be friends.
Well, Jesse grew up with my band, so did Josh.
Okay.
And Jesse told me that he had big posters of us. And we were one of his favorite bands, and me, I was his favorite dude.
Wow.
So, we actually met through my drummer at the time that was doing the record with me, and he was hanging out with Eric Eppy, who is my brother also, who is Jesse's right-hand man, touring everything. It's his bestest friend. And he said, "Listen, I'm at your favorite frontman in the world's house right now." I go, "You've got to be kidding me." He goes, "I'm a Jesse's right now." I go, "Shit." I go, "Dude, I don't know him." He goes, "He loves you, dude. I just got finished talking with him. Whatever." I go, "Can you please play him the song Be Evil and ask him if he'll come in and sing with me on it?" He goes, "Sure." So the next day he calls up and he goes, "Dude, Jesse's going to come to the studio." And we're like, "Oh, shit, you've got to be kidding me." So I go, "Can you give me his number?" He said, "Yeah." So I called him up, and we spent like 2 hours on the phone together. And because I can't wait to do it. I'm in tears right now. I love you. I can't wait to see you. And so, yeah,
Wow.
it was just like, and we're like 2 days apart on our day apart in September on our birthday. So
Okay.
there's a lot of synergy there that we had, we didn't really know about. So he's been wanting to meet me and I've been wanting to meet him. So he comes and he literally comes, it was like a movie, dude. He comes walking up the street, right, to our producer's house. No car, no nothing. Walking up like a cowboy. And I went, oh my God, this guy's my hero.
Wow.
Walking up, he comes up, and he just runs to me and hugs me, and we started crying because everything that they've been through in Paris at the Bataclan, when they got attacked by terrorists, and one of our closest friends who were working for him at the time, their sound man, which is a very close friend with my girl Drew, and so there was this family thing. So I said, dude, you have no idea. I've always wanted to meet you too. Me and Josh are big fans of yours. We love you. Let's go to the studio. So I know the part. I'm going to sing this part. It's like, fuck yeah. So he came in and to the reluctance of the producer at the time we were in the process of final mixing. So I brought him in at the 13th hour and he wasn't very happy about it. And I love him to death. He's an amazing producer at Parker and Luke Kearney, who did the record. I love him to death. And it was very difficult because we working under budget and everything else. And so we finally talk him into, and Jesse comes in and does a hell of a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then after we finish the session, there's like a little garden area, a beautiful garden that Rick has in his backyard. And we're kind of sitting up there and Jesse starts telling us the story of the attack.
Oh.
And by the end of an hour and a half, we're sitting in tears. Jesse's just emotionally spent. And, I'm hugging him and says, I just want to thank you. I have not been able to tell anybody and share something, but I felt so comfortable around you because it's still like family that I was able to get this out. Thank you for letting. And I said, dude, are you kidding me? You have a friend for life, bro. Whenever you need me, I'll be there for you. Anytime, musically, whatever. So he pulled me in, dude, and he had me sing on Super Troopers 2, that the Eagles Death Metal did the soundtracking for.
Okay.
I sang with Jesse. I sang with him on his covers record. I actually played guitar on a song, it's Blinded by the Light, which they did for Super Troopers 2.
Okay.
And that's me playing guitar on there. And, they just let me come in. Jesse goes, come in and sing this. Oh my God, yeah. So he brought me into his tribe of how they work. And it was so magical to me. People were so loving. They were so kind to me. Davey Joe Katzins, I love him with all my heart because he's just a superstar and beautiful man and showered me with love. Jenny V, incredible bass player, incredible musician. They just invited me in. A drummer. Everybody invited me into their personal space and their tribe, and it was a big thing for me.
Do they have like PTSD from that shooting in Paris, or? Because I'd be scared to go back on stage after something like that. I don't know.
No, you didn't. Jesse Hughes is a maverick, bro.
Yeah.
Jesse Hughes is a lion, not a sheep. Jesse Hughes is a strong man, one of the strongest men I know.
That's
and
great.
He is so full of music and love and kindness. He's always doing something for somebody before he does anything for himself. And then I can switch to Mr. Grohl.
Dave Grohl,
who is like, Foo Fighters are like my favorite. Forget it. I don't care what anybody tells me. Hit after hit after hit.
Yeah.
Loving family. They always treat people with dignity and kindness. They don't have that rock star mentality. It's not there at all. And I was very close with Lou, their sound engineer at 606. Very close friends. And we were looking for a studio to go into to cut from Out of the Skies. And there was a lot of different studios around, but I kept on putting out to the universe. I wanted to be in 606. I wanted to record there. I was obsessed about it. And Lou said, give me the demo. I want to play it for David. If David likes it, you're in. So we gave David the video. And the first, before we even went in there, I was able to play on a record that was a one-time record that was for Rock Against MS. And my publicist at the time, Nancy Sale, who was doing this for MS, Rock Against MS, she invited me in to cut at 606 because they were doing a record, all the top punk rock bands of the San Fernando Valley. And she said, but you're going to have to do this, Marq. You're going to have to write a song the night before, and the next day, you're going to have to come in and cut it.
Wow.
A brand new song. And I already was working on something. I said, I got it. She goes, good. So we got the tune, got it together, went in and cut it at 606. David wasn't there. And I knew a couple of guys from the band, Shute and of course Taylor, who I love, Taylor Hawkins. We were friends and we knew each other. But I never personally met David before.
Mm-hmm.
So we go in there, we cut the thing, we cut the song, it sounds great. And then other bands came in and they cut their songs. And then David was going to pick the running order of the album. So he hears the songs and then he heard our songs. He said, wait a minute, hold on, play that one. So he heard it and he made the running order and he chose our song first. So we were the first one on the record.
That's
right?
awesome.
So I was like, oh my God, he loved the song. He goes, I can't believe the Bulletboys are killing it on this thing. So really want to meet these guys. So long story short, I give the demo to Lou and David hears it and I get a call like probably about a week later. And I thought I was going to get the no, N-O.
Yeah.
But Lou goes, hey, I got to tell you that I got some good news and some bad news. I go, I'm not feeling too good today. I usually take the bad news first. What's the good news? He goes, the good news is the guy with the beard that you love. He said, come on in. I said, oh my God, are you kidding me? He goes, nope. He said he loved the album, that you were taking risks from this thing, and he loved it. He loved every song. Loved it. Just was completely blown away. So I was like, oh my gosh, get in there. And the first day we're getting drum sounds and everything else. And and I'm telling the guys, I'd love to see David if he's going to come. He goes, no, he wants to come in here. He's dying to get in here and talk with you. He's got a bunch of shit he's going to do. Okay, cool. So we're in there. Second day, haven't seen him. And I'm standing there. There's no one there. And we're kind of closing everything up. And I'm there with, the two producers and Lou. And then all of a sudden, the door comes swinging open from the parking lot. Literally. Boom! The door comes swinging open. I'm standing right there. I'm like, oh, shit. And he walks in. And he plants his 2 feet. And he goes, I fucking know you. and he's got that look. And I was going, oh, shit. Is this? And he goes, I go, and I know you too, but I kind of don't know you. And he comes over to me, literally kind of floats over to me, his arms up, he goes, so now you do.
Aww.
And he picks me up off the ground.
What?
And he was just, we hugged each other and we're laughing. And he goes, Marq, I've been wanting to meet you for so long. Do you know we've had 6 degrees of separation in our career? I go, get out of here. He goes, dude, can you please take the time? I have a story I got to tell you. So he goes and tells me these stories, right? About that he lived in an apartment complex right next to me in North Hollywood when we first started the Foods. He knew that I drove a white truck. I don't even want to get into the story, but it was just so epic. Because you never know what, you don't know who people, I'm thinking, oh, here's little old Marq with the Bulletboys and who cares, And then it's like, he just had so many stories and he just lifted me up, man.
That's so awesome.
It was just like, and I had tears in my eyes. Listen, man, musicians aren't always the most, how would you say it, confident guys, and when you're trying to do everything by yourself, you got the band, but you're working so hard and touring, and you think you have something, and then for somebody to give you the validity for someone that you have so much love for, and they sit there and they take the time for you. Well, they don't need to take the time for you. But he told me, you're supposed to be here, Marq.
That's awesome.
You're supposed to be here. He goes and he told me the whole story why they built the studio, and we walked to the studio, and I'd already been there, but he was showing me different stuff, and he was just like, okay, let's go listen to music. Let me hear this shit. You know,
That's
and he
great.
comes in, we start playing stuff, and he's just like, oh my god, this is fucking great.
Yeah,
I
no.
love what you got. Love what you do.
No, I
So
love
he
I love all the new stuff that you guys have. You have the Elefante album too. I love that. I think the Symphony song. I think that's my favorite
thank
Bullet
you.
Boys song of all time. I think that is the best song you've ever written.
Ah! Oh, God bless you. Thank you so much. You know, that song really has affected a lot of people. I'm so blessed that I was able to write that and to make people feel a lot of love, you know?
It's brilliant. It's the arrangements, the song. I mean, was that a complicated song to write?
Thank you.
Because it seems like it's not like just like a couple of chords. I mean, there's like some complicated arrangements. I mean, I'm not a songwriter. I don't know, but it seems like it would be not easy to write that.
You know, it was and it wasn't.
Okay.
It was getting the lyrical content right, where people would understand in its simplicity, where you know, like you feel it. It pulls on your heartstrings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that was a difficult thing because it's really hard to be real honest sometimes, and you got to let the honesty out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me as a musician, as a writer, that's one of the hardest things to do. To let your heart pour out all over the place.
Yeah.
To be honest, and you know. Even from the first line, you know, the song, everyone has a tragedy, or a stone broken heart. You know, that's the truth, you know?
Absolutely.
In every people's life, you know, I always tell people always ask me, I go, I have a perpetual broken heart. I always put my heart together every morning with super glue. But that's just me. I've gone through a lot in my life.
Yeah.
So I have a stitched up heart. Huh. And it's something that people, it's hard to listen to that. It's hard to understand that if you haven't been through that.
Yeah.
So,
no. It was around.
The lyrical content is...
Go on, sorry. The lyrical content?
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I just love that whole album. I love the song. But it was around this time that I saw you in Phoenix. You guys came into a club. I don't know if you remember the story, but it was one of the weirdest concerts I've ever been to because you guys must have had some bus trouble or something broke down and you came in a little late and I've never seen this before. You guys walked in the front door and I was like, I think that's the band. And you guys walked into the front door. I've never seen that. And you're like, You got up, you're like, yeah, they wanted to cancel the show because we had some trouble. He's like, and you're like, we're not canceling it. We do this for you guys and we're going to do it anyway. So do you remember that?
Yep. Oh yeah.
What happened?
What happened on a couple?
Oh, really?
I think we had a bus breakdown.
Oh, okay.
And they wanted to cancel the show, but I think we were like an hour late or something like that.
Yeah.
And we hadn't done the sound check or nothing. We plugged right in and started playing.
It was so awesome. You walked to the front door and just got up and started playing. I was like, sweet.
Yep.
It was a great show.
Well, we never cancel shows. I don't cancel shows. I don't care what's going on. We
That's
never
awesome.
do. We haven't. I perform with pneumonia and like I'm almost dying sometimes. I will not cancel shows for my friends and my fans. I just won't do it.
That's super cool. And then
I'm glad you remember that, dude. That was wild.
It was crazy. I'd never seen a band walk in the front door. It was just crazy. But so now let's bring it up to speed here. You reunion with the original Bullet Boys, which I think is super cool. You said that's not an easy thing to happen. There was a lot of conversation. And this is interesting. You said you kind of have to let go of the past, to find the common ground and start with love and respect for each other. And then you have to, this is good. You have to let the little things go. So you guys were all able to because I know that the other members of the Bullet Boys, didn't they start a band called Lies, Deceit, and Treachery or something like that? And was that like a shot at you or something? Like, so you guys kind of all moved through all this stuff and just kind of let it go?
I don't think it was a shot at me in particular. I just think that they wanted to play the songs that they left the band and they hadn't played in a long time.
Okay.
And, I never left the band. So I'm the owner of the trademark and, I never left the band.
Mm-hmm.
So I did put the band on hold for a couple of minutes with family situations back in the day. But, I put out 3 records in the past, 5-6 years?
Yeah.
Or 5 years. So, it's something that Bullet Boys is my band. It's dear to my heart. It's something that I've never left and always wanted to take the band and make sure that the band was able to grow was able to be in the now.
Yeah.
And it was not easy, writing and doing everything, basically on my own, except for the fact that I was very, very fortunate that I had Nick Ross and Chad McDonald with me for almost 10 years.
Oh.
We worked very diligently, traveled all around the world together. We traveled in buses, planes, vans, cars, broken down vans. We did everything we possibly could to work our records and to make sure that we didn't miss shows. And in this day and age, it's a very difficult thing to do.
No, absolutely.
And to all listen to each other and to know when we're exhausted, on the 12th show that we're playing, and, we're all exhausted and that, and the guy's coming up to me and going, I don't know how you're singing so great right now. It's a 12th show. And after this show, we're the fuck out of here and we're going to take 2 days off and we're just going to chill. And we go to like a campground or, just like we just experienced a lot of different things that, a lot of hard work. And I was very fortunate. I had a great village around me, with my girl Drew, Giselle, with my publicist Nancy, at the time, with the record label and everybody's. It's always a diligent struggle because it's really hard sometimes as a musician to make the other parties or the people that are in charge of the label, whatever, to let you be free with your creation.
Right.
And we were very fortunate. I was very fortunate to be signed with Motown and Warner Brothers, where they let us do that.
Oh.
And then you get with other companies, and it's kind of not as pliable or bendable.
Interesting.
To be able to be able to go, you know what? I know the artist wants to do this, so we're going to meet you halfway. But some people just want you to be stuck in the 80s writing 80s tunes, which has never been me.
Yeah.
It's never been Bulletboys. We have always written, from our hearts, and we're always rolling with trying to make the band not be stuck in a certain time zone.
Right.
And
well, yeah. So are you guys?
All bands
are you making a new album with the original members or an EP or something?
Well, I'll be honest with you. We are going to be releasing a single here very, very soon.
Cool.
And we're trying to keep it under wraps. But right now, we have a lot of songs, but it's a hard thing to do right now because, first of all, if you go and start recording a record and you finish your record and you release your record, you can't tour on it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Not right now.
Yeah.
So is it the best option to put out a new record with a reunion and all this great stuff behind us? And we don't know yet. We're kind of, playing it by ear. I do know that we're getting ready probably next month to shoot our first video together in a very long time.
Fun.
We've already had a performance on the Monsters of Rock cruise site, which is a virtual show.
Okay.
We were the first band to actually do it and to be in the process of inventing this with our manager, Larry Moran.
Yeah.
Our manager, Larry Moran, ran with it and came up with this concept, and we were the guinea pigs, the first band that did it. And, in terms of purposes, we did really well for us not ever doing anything like that, or any band, particularly at months ago, not doing it. Now it's kind of the norm, but it wasn't.
Right.
And we were one of the first bands to do it.
That's very cool.
So, and so we're really excited about that. And we're excited that I believe that we're going to be doing another virtual show. It will probably be in September, hopefully sometime. It's going to be more of a pay-per-view show, but we're also going to try to make it like the song remains the same. Okay. So it's going to be like a movie, but yet I can't really explain the whole thing because it's kind of like a secret thing, but we're going to try to do something that's visually has not been seen as of late.
All right. So some
will we be able to pull it off? From my lips to God's ears, hopefully.
All right. Well, that sounds fun. I'm looking forward to that. You've said that the lockdown is kind of easier for you because you're kind of a recluse. So are you just doing a lot of songwriting and stuff? And
Yes, sir.
yeah, you also
I'm doing a lot of that. I'm doing a lot of soul searching.
soul searching. Yeah. Is it
Doing a lot
hard?
of. I would say that I'm working on my beautiful wife and trying to make sure that she is taken care of and happy
Mhm.
during these times. I'm trying to take care of my family and my friends and trying to keep myself up also.
Yeah.
I ran into a little bit of depression about 3 weeks ago. It's hard to deal with something when your career is taken away from you and live
Mhm.
music is taken away from you, and you kind of got to do a reset
Yeah.
and kind of go, well, I've done a lot of praying. I ask the Lord for help constantly
Hmm.
to give me vision to be able to make sense of this whole horrible pandemic and horrible situations that people are dealing with right now, and to be a songwriter and to breathe some type of uplifting music that will maybe make people forget about things for the time being. And so I think that's, as artists and musicians, I think that's what I'm trying to do every day, and wake up and with a positive attitude and not to live your life in fear. There's a lot of people, I think, on social media, and I don't want. Listen, I'm not going to get into politics and get political with anybody here, but I do want to say one thing. It starts with human beings. It starts with human beings and humans being. I'm going to say that again. It starts with human being and humans being. Now, I say that because we have to grow as humans.
Mhm.
And the way we grow as humans is to love each other, no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what. Now, forgiveness is hard. Trust me, it's really hard to forgive. But once we reach that place of forgiveness to everybody, and not to look at people for their religious beliefs or their color of their skin or for their nationality or for what have you, not to be redundant. But we look at each other for the quality of what that human being is. And I think that we've lost that somewhere. Somewhere we've lost it.
I've
and
noticed.
somewhere it became this dividing political thing. Now, I'm not here to blame presidents or people that are running for office or people that are in political things, but politics aside, we need love coming from artists like myself, other artists, that is an accepting attitude, but also a loving attitude.
Yeah. Do you think that
we can't accept things that are abominations and things that are against the rule of God or the rule of normal decency? But we can love on each other a lot more. And it's hard to love people. It's hard to love people when you can't stand people sometimes, when they do things that are messed up.
Right.
And you go, gosh, I got to love this dude. I go, okay, let's get rid of all that. And you go, you know what, man? It's easy to come and go, no matter what else, bro, I love you, bro.
Yeah.
And then they go, you know what? I love you too, bro. Come here, man. I need to hear that today, bro. Or you tell your girlfriend, or or your girlfriend, their friend, honey, do you have a good day today? Oh, you know, badass. Listen, I love you. Know that. And we make these calls, and I try to do that all the time. Kerry Gordon just called me today, and he's going to stop me. He goes, I love you, man. And I go, I love you more. He goes, God, stop it. You beat me. He told me, you beat me. You say what Mike, he goes, you said what Michael used to tell me. I go, what do you mean? He goes, Mike used to tell me, I love you more. He always used to get us with that. I said, oh, get out of here. So, it's just like, you gotta open up your heart, man, sometimes.
Yeah,
and it's really hard. Listen, I've been crushed by my personal life. I don't even want to get into it.
Okay.
But if I can make it out, if I can get sober and going on almost 20, right? And finding a way to do it, dude, I still make so many mistakes. I say the wrong things to people all the time. I'm an idiot sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
but I make sure to say, you know what? I catch myself and go, did I just say that? Dude, I'm so sorry. That just came a fly on. And they go, Mark, I know you didn't mean that. Thank you for saying that. You know, it's like, but I try to treat people with tons of dignity.
Yeah. Well, it's like you said, that we do that. It's like you said at the beginning, you know, the whole thing with Motley Crue started off terrible, but then you guys ended up becoming friends. Do you think that maybe that's what the world needs right now? Like, because like you said, there's a lot of division with the politics and stuff. And I know you kind of you posted something on Twitter that you kind of had to explain your side of things. I mean, can Republicans and Democrats, can we coexist in the world together? Or, I mean, do people need to take a side? Like, cause I'd like everyone to be friends and come together. Is that possible? No.
There needs to be unity.
Yeah.
There needs to be a give and take. There needs to be long conversations. I mean, 2-3 weeks of Republicans and Democrats getting together and agreeing to disagree, agreeing to agree, disagree to disagree. Take it apart, put it back together. Take it apart, put it back together. When you come to terms with that and you can logically figure this out. Now, do we have a lot of, oh my gosh, do we have a long way to go? Yeah. We have a long way to go.
Okay.
But you know what? It keeps on repeating itself. So we have a lot of different entities that aren't part of this country that are causing division from other countries that are coming in and infiltrating this country, and people are believing them. Whatever you believe, you've got to go and educate yourself. I'm very educated as far as I grew up in a political family. My father's very political. He has, you know, my father staged one of the first teachers walk out the LA City School District in the 70s. That was my dad. My dad walked with Cesar Chavez. My dad walked with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Robert F. Kennedy, excuse me. He was always taking part in those type of things. So I grew up seeing these. The marches were different when I was growing up. They were peaceful. They were intelligent. They were intellectual. It wasn't a rabble. It wasn't someone screaming something out of a megaphone just so you can hear them because someone else is screaming at them. At some point, even if you disagree with somebody, you've got to listen.
Yeah.
Listening is extreme. You've got to close your thoughts and listen. Even if you don't like what you're listening to and you think you're still right, you're going to find something to quiet your mind and you listen to somebody else's opinion.
Well, that does seem to be an issue. People are not listening to each other. They're always just trying to convince the other person that they're right and the other person's wrong instead of actually listening to the other person.
Man.
Yeah.
And listen, there's a lot of people out there that don't get me. I mean, they think this and that and the other of me. That's okay. I'm okay with it. There's a lot of people that are gonna like me for whatever. There's one thing I'm not, though. I'm not a negotist. I am. That's not in my nature. My nature is a giving nature. My nature is always. I call myself a sponge because I'm always absorbing knowledge.
Right.
I'm always absorbing it. I once you become a piece of wood and you can't absorb anything, for me it's just a loss.
Yeah.
Because especially as musicians and artists, we have to be more open than anybody. We have to see everybody's side and everything else. But and people always try to pull me into the politics. Now, do I have political stuff? Yes, of course I do. Everybody does. But I believe more in human beings than I believe in politics.
Yeah, me too.
I believe that humans find a way to find this, and it all comes down to LOVE. And anywhere you see it, any facet you could see it in the past, you gotta love each other. You gotta reason with each other. The violence and everything else. Well, it doesn't need to solve anything, bro. Just look at history. Look at the past. Never solved anything.
Yeah. No, I agree.
People that are smart, knowledgeable, really, they're able to solve things. And I'm beginning to see a lot of people waking up with the fact that we all have to treat each other better and not be so politically minded. I always tell people, and I'll kind of end on this note.
Yeah.
So we don't have any rock stars anymore, or photos of rock stars, or we don't have any movie stars anymore because we all know what's going on in that camp right now. So, but we have these political stars. When has that ever happened in our country?
That is
Never.
interesting. Yeah.
So here you got all these political stars, and look at me, and ha ha. Yeah, dude. So I always tell people, I go, well, listen, we just got to be patient because at some point, as good things end and bad things end, everything ends at some point. So
Yeah.
just make sure that you stay diligent. Know that at some point, don't believe this thing that's called the new normal. Take the new out of it. We're going to get back to normal at some point.
I think so too.
But that point is going to take diligence from not only the American people, but every person that walks the face of this earth. We're all going to have to come together.
Absolutely.
There's going to be some type of I'm hoping there's going to be some type of revival of love, a revival of common sense, a revival of sheer diligence and acceptance, and realizing that none of us are going anywhere else. We're all in this marble together.
Absolutely. So one thing, I like to end with a charity. Is there, I think I told your manager, is there a charity that I know there's a few that you're involved with, the Rocking Autism or Rock Against MS or bullying. Is there one of those you want to highlight here? Hello?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I lost you there for a second.
I'm sorry. Yes. I would definitely say that at the top of my list would be the Autism Society.
Okay.
And Rock For Autism.
Yeah.
That is something that I'm trying to be a champion of and to bring more knowledge and awareness to. I would say definitely that, and at the top of my list as of late is, it's just is that.
Okay.
And knowledge, autism and knowledge, and helping children in whatever facet that it has to do with, but helping and saving children.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you've accomplished so much in your musical career. I look forward to more things with the Bulletboys and whatever else you do in the future. Is there anything else you'd like to promote?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I just like to tell everybody that I love them with my heart, and I love them so hard. Thank you for being so patient with the Bulletboys. But we have some things that we're getting ready to do, and I think you're going to be hearing a little something from me probably soon. We're going to be doing a little kind of a semi press release on some things, and
great.
Please be patient. That we're trying to do things under the in this pandemic also that are different, and we hope to get in a room together, the four of us, sometime in October.
Okay.
When things have lightened up a little bit, because we want to be together and to come up with to finish up some of the things that we've been working on.
So when will the next single be out? Is that something that's already in the can, or is that something you're going to work on in October?
Yeah, no, we should be. I'm hoping from our meetings and stuff, we're looking at hopefully the second week of September, shooting a video.
Oh, okay.
And hopefully dropping something by the third week of September. My birthday's on the 22nd, so I would be ecstatic if we could drop something on my birthday.
Awesome.
I don't know. That's just wishful thinking, But I think people are going to be really excited. Something different, and they're going to be very surprised when they hear this.
All right. Well, I can't wait.
Also, yes, sir.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear it. So that's all I was saying.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Anything?
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on and being so candid. It was great talking to you and listening to this. I hope you guys can do a show in Phoenix soon. I will definitely come out and see it.
No, absolutely. And just a little, I think it's a precursor or postcursor. Anything that I spoke about in this interview, I hope it's not offensive to anybody. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm trying to speak with love.
I agree.
And to know that the Bulletboys are going to be bringing a lot of love to everybody.
Awesome.
That we're doing this out of love for y'all, love for us, and love for the musical genre.
That's great to hear.
And also, too, please, anybody out there that wants to say, man, I just heard this interview, and, I just want to tell you something, y'all. We need to love each other more as human beings. Sometimes you may not like what I say, and I apologize for that, but truths are truths. So,
All right.
sometimes you gotta tell the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is a great interview, and I really appreciate you delving into some of the harder questions.
Yeah. No, it was really good to hear your opinions on things. I like it.
Well, listen, God bless you and your family, and stay blessed, stay frosty,
You
and
too.
God bless the United States of America.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Take care. Okay, bye.
Bye. I hope that was educational for you guys as it was for me. Mark had so many connections to the rock music scene, from Rick James and Smokey Robinson to Motley Crue, Ratt and Ozzy, to Guns N' Roses, Five Finger Death Punch, Foo Fighters, Eagles of Death Metal. I mean, it just seems like he has a story about everyone. So I look forward to new Bulletboys songs and videos from Mark, and hopefully a tour eventually. But make sure you follow the Bulletboys on social media or check their website for updates. You can follow me on social media too if you want. I get lonely sometimes. I'd love to hear from you. Get your thoughts on the interview. If you really want to go all out, you can write me a review of the show. And make sure you subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, have a great day or a night if you're listening at night. And just remember to shoot for the moon.